Welcome everybody, nice to see you. Thanks for joining us again for, I'm kind of losing track of how many of these workshops we've done, but some of you are new to us. Just wanted to give you a little info on the Atlanta Photography Group. We are a nonprofit photographic arts association that was begun by artists in 1987. We are an official 501c3 nonprofit, and we provide opportunities and support for the fine art photography community. Now, moving on to our workshop for this evening, best practices for importing into Lightroom. So, and I know that can be a little tricky, so I'm going to go through those practices with you. All right, so essentially there are two options to be able to import your images into Lightroom. One is the images are already on the hard drive, or you add them to the hard drive and then import them to Lightroom. The second option is to import them directly from your media card or camera into Lightroom. It will add it to or copy it to your hard drive at the same time. And I'm going to go through both of these. All right. So what is the difference and why would you do one over the other? If you already have images on your hard drive, you know, they're older images, you've been doing something else with them, maybe you just started with Lightroom, but the images are already on your hard drive. It's not something new. You would choose the folder and then go through the process of adding to your Lightroom catalog. While you're adding them to your Lightroom catalog this way, you can apply a development preset. You can add some metadata and some keywords. But then if you want to change the name of those images, you have to do that separately. I'm going to show you how to do that in today's class as well. If it's new work and it's on the media card or camera, on the media card in the camera, you can either plug the media card in, or with a USB cable, you can actually plug the camera into the computer as well and download the images that way. This way gives you a whole lot more options when you actually add the images to your Lightroom catalog. It copies them to the hard drive. You can rename them at this time. You can add metadata, keywords, development presets, all at one time. So it kind of takes a bunch of separate steps and allows you to put it all together in one place. Sometimes the reason why you want to even put new images on your hard drive and then add them to Lightroom, occasionally I have had a problem with going through the second process from the media card in it being a little bit slower, but it's doing so many more things, and I think that's why it gets slower. So either way works. There's just a couple different steps on doing that. Okay. And before I go into those steps, I just wanted to do a quick review. Some of you have been in the previous class last week, and we talked about previews. But Lightroom works with previews, and I just wanted to revisit what a preview is. So in Lightroom, you have two ways that you're working with, or two types of ways you're working with images. One is the actual image is in the folder, but what Lightroom does when it adds the images to the Lightroom catalog, it creates a preview of the image. And this is a visual display version of your original image. And it does make Lightroom work a bit faster because it's not having to reference that large original file. It's referencing the preview that is with the Lightroom catalog. So the previews allow you to view, zoom, rate, and flag photos. And it also shows you what those photos look like as they're being developed. There are 4 options for previews: minimal, embedded in sidecar. These are essentially temporary types of previews. And they are also the faster previews when Lightroom is importing the images and building the previews. So it'll make Lightroom go a little faster in the beginning, but it will slow it down actually later on, okay? The other previews that you probably want to work with are either standard previews or one-to-one previews. One-to-one previews are full-size previews, okay? And that will speed up Lightroom when you're actually processing the images on the other side of it. It will be slower when you're importing the images, but as you're working in Lightroom, it'll actually be faster. And then smart previews, and I'll show you how to choose those in just a minute. And smart previews are actually small DNG files, which is Adobe's generic digital negative file that actually creates a small DNG file. It creates a real image. It's not just a preview, but it creates a small raw file that is built into Lightroom itself. So if for some reason your images go missing or get lost in some way from Lightroom, you can still work with that DNG. It's not a full-size image, but it's a reasonable size image to do a lot of things with. Okay. All right, so option number one, how to import. I'm going to start with importing from images that are on your hard drive. The first thing I'm going to do is on this slide presentation, give you the step-by-step, and then I'm going to go into a demo of it. So just bear with me. You may want to screenshot the step-by-step directions, and then you'll actually see the demo of how it works. Okay, so importing images that are already on the hard drive. Okay, so, or you've copied the images from your media card or your camera onto your hard drive. So copy your images, create a folder inside your main images folder, and name it something descriptive. Maybe it's a place you've been, or some people also name their folders by the year and the month. It's whatever system that you want to work with, which is perfectly fine. Once you have the images already copied over to your hard drive, go to Lightroom. If it's not open, go ahead and open it. You then choose the import option, and it will open the import window. Okay. In the import window, you will have the option to add, choose, and you will be able to choose and select the images you want to import. You will then have the options on some file handling, choosing your preview type, choosing smart previews, and things you can apply during import. If you've been working with Lightroom, and we'll do this in a future class, do some developing and create a preset. But if you already have one, you could apply it when you're adding those images, applying a metadata preset, adding some keywords to the images as they are being imported to Lightroom. You can create a preset for this, and then you click import. All right, so hold on a minute here, and we're going to go to a little demo of that. Okay. So is everybody following along right now? Okay. Yes? No? Maybe?
Sort of.
Sorta? All right. So I'm going to go through how to do it now. So here's the demo part. I gave you the step-by-step, and I'm going to repeat that as I go through the demo. So I want to, I have something that's in the way here that I just need to move over so I can see what I'm doing. All right, perfect. All right, so I want to add images to my Lightroom catalog that are already on my computer. So they're already here. And I can choose two things right here. I can go over here to the left and choose folders and go to the plus sign, which is normally what I do, okay? or I can go down here to the bottom of the left panel and choose import. I'm going to go with the way that I normally do it, which is here at folders, and I'm going to click the plus sign. And I have some options. I'm going to choose add folder. Okay. And then I know where I've saved this folder on my hard drive. Okay. And it is right here. Okay. All right, so let me close this up just a second. Oh, okay. And here on my hard drive, I have one main images folder that says images, projects, and originals. Okay, so that's where all my photos go, is in this one folder. Okay, and the images I want to import today are, I already set this up, so I had something to use, import example. So I'm going to choose that folder. And I'm going to click select folder. It's very similar on the Mac. So you would be choosing that folder and selecting it. Now, this is the import screen. So this is Lightroom's import screen. And if you notice over here on the left side, it's saying it's coming from, and there's the drive that's in, and it's showing me import examples. Okay. As I go over to the middle, I have some options up here at the top. Most of them are grayed out and I can't even choose them, but I want to add because they're already on the hard drive. So all I'm going to do is add them to my Lightroom catalog. All right, so with that, here in the center, I can see all the images that are in that folder. You can see how they're checked, okay? Down here on the bottom, I can uncheck all, check all, okay? So I unchecked all of them. I can check all of them very easily, or I can decide that, you know what, I don't want that one. And I can uncheck selective images if I don't want to add them to this Lightroom catalog. But if it's already in the folder, I wouldn't know why I wouldn't want to add it into my Lightroom catalog. Okay, so I'm going to go back to check all. If I'm trying to look at something a little closer, down in the bottom left-hand corner, there's a grid view and a loop view. Okay, and I could look at a single image and also use my arrow keys to scroll through them if I want to look at them a little bit closer to see if I want to include that image or not. I'm going to go back to this view. All right. So again, they're coming from this folder, it says from. I'm going to add them. And then I want to make sure over in the top right that they're going to my catalog, okay? If I add them this way, this is pretty much the only options you get. The folder you chose, add, and then to your catalog. Okay? This is why I choose it. It's kind of the simplest way of adding them. Then over on the right-hand side, you have file handling. All right, so you have a few options here. You don't have a ton of options, but you do have a few options. So here it's build previews. This is, see where I have minimal, embedded inside car standard, and one-to-one. I'm going to choose standard right now because I don't want it to take all the time that it's going to take to build a one-to-one. But if I was really importing these, I would probably choose the one-to-one because it's going to make it faster on the other side. I want to choose build smart previews, okay? And here's a great tool. Don't import suspected duplicates. This is, you're not sure if you already imported some of these or added them to your catalog or not. So if these were already in the catalog, it would gray them out and it wouldn't add them the second time. So that's kind of a handy tool, okay? I'm not going to add it to a collection because I don't even want, and that's in another class. I don't want it to go there. Other things to apply during import. Develop setting. Well, we haven't actually done any of those yet. in our training, but I actually have some, so I could go, and I have some user presets I already created, and I could go and pick one of those if I wanted to add it to it. And the cool thing about that, it would already do some development as it's adding the images in, which is kind of a handy tool. I have a basic preset that's pretty much the standard things I do to almost all images, and then I can change it later, but it's really all of my basic things. All right, so then there's a metadata, okay? All right, so metadata, okay, the default is none, okay? And you can actually create a preset, and I'm actually gonna create a preset right now so you can see how that works, all right? So to create a new preset, I'm gonna click on Edit Presets, okay? And it brings up this window, right? It has a lot of options in here, but I really only fill in part of it. Go to that one, and I'll just pull it up so I don't have to type all this stuff again, and I can just show you where it is. And this is one I've saved with my name on it. I want to fill in the copyright information with my name. I want to choose copyrighted as my status. You have unknown, copyrighted, or public domain. You created it, you own it, choose copyrighted. And then if you have a place on your website that has your copyright info, you can put that in there. The next thing I want to fill in is my creator info, my name, my address, my phone number, and email, and my websites. Okay. The caveat is here, if the street address is your home address, leave it blank. Don't fill that in. Mine's a P.O. box. I don't really care. All right. So, and I'll go back through this in just a second. Again, I pretty much, the only thing I fill out is the copyright and the creator. And then the very last thing, or something near the bottom under keywords, I put in generic keywords. In this case, because this is a preset with just my contact information, I put my name and my business name in there. That's it, okay? And then I'm gonna choose, we'll pretend this is a new one, save current setting as new preset, save it, name it, Judy copyright, okay? All right, create. And now I have that as an option. I click done. And it's one of my metadata options over here. And once I've created this preset, I don't have to type all that stuff again. I just have to choose it when I go to import my images, right? And here is, with this project, if I have specific keywords I want to add, let's say I'm going to just put Europe in here, because I've got some photos from Portugal and I've got some photos from France. So I don't want to put anything else into it. Oh, I could put travel. Okay. So, whoops. Okay. So that would be all that I would put in these specific images. All right. Do we have any questions right now at this moment? Chat, raise your hand, anything like that. Okay. Everybody's good? All right, I see some, okay. You had a question, David? Yes? Wait.
Oh, okay. When we go to import using the media card,
I'm gonna go to that.
Oh no, but will it be the same, or do we have to redo this part?
Oh, it will be very, very similar.
But we will have to redo this specific part.
No.
Oh, okay.
The metadata, you mean?
Correct.
No, I would just choose the option.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I've done that. Hold on. Let me make that go away again for a minute. Now, if I know that I'm going to be doing this a lot, okay, I've got all my settings set over here. The only thing that would be a slight issue would be my keywords, but I'm not going to worry about those. I can go down here to the bottom, and this is something most people don't even notice. Down here at the very bottom of the center screen, and it's kind of grayed out until I roll over it. It says none. If I click on it, save current setting as new preset. And this is giving me an import preset of all of these things I just set over here on the right side. So create setting. This is the power of Lightroom, being able to create a preset or a template for things that you are doing all the time or you are regularly doing, so you don't have to reset it again. So I'm going to save current settings as new preset. It's going to let me name it. I'm going to call it import on computer. So I know that this is an import for things that are already on my computer. So create. Now I'll put that down there. And okay, I'm good to go. I always double check in case I forgot something. And now I click import. And now you'll see I have this set up here. It says current import, importing files. Hopefully this, oh, there we go. Okay, all right. Yes, Susan, I will try that for the future. She asked if I could enlarge the screen for better viewing. I can do it. It gets a little hung up sometimes, but I will try. See if we can do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sure, I understand. Like some of the stuff is tiny. Okay. All right, so it just imported all of those images. Okay, which is really pretty cool. And it's building the preview. So it's taking a minute here and it's building. Even though you see them, it still tells me it's building previews for these. So let's go and look. I'm just gonna, oh, smart previews. I always get that. It always pops up. All right, so here's the thing that may be annoying, but I never turn them off. It says, don't show this again. It says smart previews were built. Don't show this again. I have discovered every time I turn off one of these pop-ups, it's later on, I wish it was there. So I just leave them and just click OK. All right, so let's go to that image. Okay. And I am going to go, let's see, keywords, let's open. All right, so here, let me see if I can do this, Susan. Oh, there it is. How is that better?
Part of it is.
Yeah. So yeah. Kind of. So over here on the over here on the keywords, this is the best it gets. I'm sorry, it just kind of does a little thing. But those are the keywords that I added in when I imported, and they pop up into that keyword window. Oops. Will it go away now? There we go. All right. So over there on my keywords, I added those in and it popped up. And let me scroll down here for a minute. Okay. All right. And where is that? There it is. All right. So let's try this again. Okay. And here is the content or the contact information that I put in that metadata preset, and it added this into it as it imported the images. So, and it applied it to all the images that were imported. So it applied that to all of them at once. All right, does that make sense? Good? So far. All right, so it's actually pretty easy, but if you do all those, if you do some of those other things, it definitely helps as you are, importing. It gives you a lot of other options. All right, so option number 2, we are going to import from the media card. So from the SD card, I'm going to import the images from the media card. It's very similar, but there's a couple extra things you can do. All right, so images from media card or camera. So first of all, I'm going to connect or insert the media card or camera. I'm going to go back to Lightroom. This time I'm going to click on the import button and my import window will open again. Okay. So in this case, however, I want to make sure that my media card is selected. Remember, I'm going to do a demo. And this time I want to choose copy. It will give me the option to copy. And it's going to copy the images from the media card over to the hard drive. Okay. And then I want to choose the images that I want to import. And now I get to choose where those images, when they're copied, are going to go. Okay, so I need to pick a destination for them. I need to pick a place for them to go. I have file handling again, choosing a preview type, my smart previews. I get to choose file naming this time, and we're going to set up a renaming format. I get to apply, develop metadata and keywords to the images when they're imported. I do need to set a destination where they're going to go. I can set a preset for this setup, and then I would choose import. Okay.
We lost you, Judy.
Am I back?
You're back. You might want to turn off your video because we lost your audio.
Okay, where did you lose me? Do you know?
A little bit before you changed the slide.
Okay, so let's go back. So we're going to do a preset, and then we're going to click import. All right, and off to the demo yet again. Oops, that's not it. Okay. There we go. So let's go back to this screen. Okay, so here I am back in Lightroom. All right, so I've already plugged my SD card into my computer. I got a slot for it. And now I'm going to go to the bottom left-hand corner and click import. Okay. Okay, so over on the left-hand side is my source. I want to make sure that I have my SD card. And I also want to make sure that I've checked the box that says include subfolders. Because your images are normally in a subfolder on that SD card. And if you don't do that, you might not be, I just uncheck that and you're like, no, photos found. Include subfolder. So it's finding the images. The other thing that I also do is above that it says eject after import. I don't check that box because I don't want it to eject in case I need to go back and re-import them for some reason. Okay, occasionally something goes a little wacky. Okay, so I'm choosing where they're coming from. So that's my media card for my Canon camera. Up here in the middle, I've got copy. Okay. I want to look at the images. Which one? Okay, so I don't want that one. Okay. In this case, because I'm importing from the media card, I am going to, that's the only one I don't want, I guess. Okay. I just didn't want that one. So I'm not going to import it. And when I reformat my card and my camera, that image will be gone forever. But this is a time where I definitely will sort through some of the images and not import any of the ones that I don't want at all. So copy. Then I want to go over here to where do I want this to go? All right. So I am going to choose, that is, you can choose this later, but it's also best to choose it here. So that's the hard drive where my images are. So I'm going to pick that too. Okay. So far, so good. Okay. File handling, build previews. I'm going to go with standard again. Build smart previews. Yep. Don't import duplicates. Yep. I don't want to do any of those right now, but I have done this one. If I wanted to back these up as I was importing them, I could have a separate hard drive attached, and I could automatically save these images to 2 places. Now, when I import these, I am going to rename them. We did not have that option last time to rename them when we added them, but I'm going to show you how to do that in a bit as well, how to rename images that are already in your catalog. So rename your files, all right? So, I am going to create, so here's where I can create a new template. It's called a template here. I don't know why it's not called a preset. All right, so I'm going to go to custom settings. I'm going to go to edit, okay? And I got a new window. All right, so let me get rid of all of this stuff in here. Okay. All right, so what I want to do is you can name your files however you want, but I'm going to show you how I name them. I'm going to add my name first. Yeah, I know they're on my computer, but just in case they get out of my hands, they always have my name on them. And then I'm going to use an underscore, okay? And then I'm going to come down to the bottom of these options and choose custom text. And I'm going to click insert. Okay. Okay, custom text. And you see how it has the little brackets around it? That is called a token. And what it's doing, it's going to be picking up some information. Some of these are going to be picking up some information from the actual camera metadata and from some other places. I'm going to, now that my cursor is next to it, I'm going to add another underscore. And I'm going to choose date. Okay. And I have lots of options for how to add the date. I'm going to choose the one that's year, year, month, month, day, day. Okay. And I'm going to click insert again. See how that added it up here? It's going to pull the date off of the metadata of when you shot it in your camera. And I'm going to do another underscore. And I'm now going to go to sequence. Okay. And I normally choose sequence with either 3 digits or sequence with 4 digits. Okay. So let's just go with the 4 digits. And I'm going to click insert. So it's my name, an underscore, some custom text. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Another underscore, the date pulled from the camera, and then the sequence. And it's going to number them in order from the first one to the last one. Now, before I click done, don't be so impatient. I'm going to rename this or give it a name. Save current settings as new preset. So here's my preset. It's going to be Judy custom date sequence. Okay. All right. So I like to name these things something that makes sense and I know what it is. Create. And now I'm going to click done. All right. So remember where I put the custom date in, and I think this will help if I actually make this bigger over here. All right. So rename files. There's my template. See where it says custom text here untitled? This is where I'm now going to put in goats. Okay. Because I just want to name that goats. Start number 1, so I want to start with 1, and this is a sample now of what that name is going to look like. My name, goats, the year, 200526, and then the sequence. Okay. And the sequence is kind of, oh, there it is, okay, and I'll start with the number 1. There we go. Okay. So it's going to rename all those images. All right. So I created a naming template. And what will happen then is it will be in this list, and I know what it is, so I can choose it in the future. I created it once. I can choose it in the future. All right. So apply during import, development settings. I don't have any. Metadata. Hey, we created that last time. So now I'm going to choose Judy Copyright. All right. So I already created it once. Okay. I don't have to do it again. Keywords. Let's see. Goats. Because all of these are the same thing. Farm. Jasper. Okay. Baby goats. Okay. Okay. Make sure you're typing well. All right. So I got that. And now the next thing is I need to make sure it's going into a destination, into a specific place. So I am going to put this in. Okay, these are all the, wrong. Okay, these are all the folders I have in this Images Projects Originals. All right. So I don't have I didn't create a folder yet. So I'm going to do that right here into a subfolder. And I'm just going to call it goats. Okay. I would probably have it make more sense. Okay. But right now, this is all goats. And if you notice, there's the folder, my Images Projects Originals. And I'm going to make this bigger again. So hopefully you guys can see. See how I now have the goats folder. It's a little grayed out. There's a folder and there's a little plus sign. That means that folder doesn't exist yet, but when I click import, Lightroom is going to create that folder on my hard drive for me and copy these images into that folder already. So it's going to make that work for me. Okay. All right. So double checking. Yep, file handling, build my smart previews, coming down. Yep, my rename. Oh, yep, I made sure that I added something in my custom text. I made sure my start number was 1. All right, I got my metadata preset. I got some keywords in there. Very cool. All right, I'm going to create a new import preset. Save settings as preset. All right. Import from media card. All right, create. So now I already got that. All right, everybody's good. Double checking to make sure it's going where I want it. This is a time not to be too impatient. This is a time to make sure you know where this stuff is going. Goats. All right, import. Voila. Taking a second. Here they come. Let me make this bigger. Okay. And you see how it renamed that image as it imported it. So it's been renamed, added in there. Okay. Added my contact information. This is coming straight off the camera media card. Added my contact information. Okay. Smart previews were built. Let's scroll back up. Okay. Added the keywords into it, baby goats, farm goats, Jasper, my name, my business name. So it added the stuff from my metadata preset. It added my new keywords in there. And I'm going to go over here to the left side. Okay. There's the folder now, created a new folder. Okay. Created that folder, it's now a real folder, and it now has 29 images in it. And if I roll over it, it's telling me that it's on that hard drive in the main folder, and it's now goes. And okay, let's do this, okay, just so you can see. Oh, yeah. There's my hard drive. Okay. There's the main folder. Okay, so that's everything on my hard drive. And oh, look, there's the folder. Okay. Okay. there's the folder. Actually, when I go look on my hard drive, it created that folder. Okay. And there's all of the images and the new name on all of them. Okay. All right. So that's option 2. Okay. Are we good so far? Can I look at head shaking? Yes, no, maybe? Okay. Yes? All good? Okay. All right. Oh, that's okay. All right. So now you added some images that were already in your hard drive, but you didn't rename them, or they're not named the way you wanted to name them. You can actually, once they're in your library, you can actually rename the files. And it's go to your library and then file rename in the menu, in the library menu. So, and you can set up your renaming template, or you can use the one we just created, okay? Don't forget, if you're using custom text, you need to set the text and you need to set a start number. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Lightroom, open back up here. Okay. All right, so let's see. So here's the examples I imported from before, and if you notice, the file name is just it's the file name essentially out of the camera, and I don't want that. I want to actually rename these. Okay. So I am going to, in this case, I'm just going to select them all. Okay. Which that is either Command or Control A, and it will select them all. Up in the menu, go to Library, rename Photos. And what was that? Custom date sequence. That was the one that I just set up. So if I have a template I like, I can choose it. Okay. If I don't have a template already set up, I can choose Edit and create a new template here. I can create a new renaming style. Cancel that. Okay. And here, I don't want it to say for sale. Okay. I want it to say, let's just call it Europe. Okay. And it's going to pick, I already had my name in there. All I had to do, once I set that template, all I had to do was change the custom text. Everything else it's picking up from my template and my start number. All right, and I just click OK. And it'll take it a second. It's got to think about it. And there, it just changed the file name on these 136 images that fast. All right. The other thing I can do with these, again, I'm going to select them all. I can apply. So I chose a metadata preset, apply metadata preset, apply the preset to all the selected photos or only the active one. I want to apply it to all of those selected. Okay. So that metadata preset with my contact information and some keywords and my copyright, I just applied it to all those 136 images. So it's all there. Just slow down on me there for a minute. All right, so that's how you can rename your images even if they're already in your catalog. So just kind of did that. All right, so in summary, okay, you have 2 options to import, okay? One, images that are already on your hard drive, or ones that you have on a media card or your camera. Follow the steps. Hopefully you took a screenshot of the step-by-step. If you are importing from a hard drive, you choose Add. If you're importing from a media card, you choose Copy. Things you can apply during import, your metadata preset, if you have a development setting, and keywords. always make sure your destination is correct. Rename your files. If they're from your media card, you can rename them when you import them. If they're already on your hard drive, you can always go in and select them and rename them. And don't forget to create presets to automate your tasks. Okay? When images, so here's a huge tip. Once you add images to Lightroom, only use Lightroom to manage your images. For organizing, for moving, for naming. Use Lightroom to organize your images. Sorry, I should have made that larger. Thank you all very much. Have a lovely evening. Check out some of the other things we have coming up, and I will see you soon.
Thanks, Judy.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.